Welcome to the 10th Crafty Max Originals BeadALong. Today we're going to start talking about the basics. First, I want to go over the tools. So if you already know how to use your tools and you already have a good set, then skip to the next video. I will tell you that in some things, cheaper is fine and it doesn't really make a difference. I will tell you that in tools, that's not the case. The more expensive tool you can afford, the better you will be. I will start going over these. You don't necessarily need all of them. It depends on what you're doing, but these are the ones that I use. Okay, these are called round nose pliers, and I'm going to try and kind of get them up there. And what they're used for is to turn ear wires and other wire, and of course you can see they're round and they go from narrow to the point to thicker. The best thing I can tell you when you're looking for these kind of pliers is to look to see if there is any air or light through them, because if they don't close correctly, then more than likely they're not going to be a good quality. The other thing that I always recommend is that in any tools that you get, you get what's called pre-sprung. So the resting way that the tools rest is open. You use pressure to close them. Some tools are the opposite. You have to actually manually open them. Those are the hardest on your hands. So if they automatically are open, then they are the best that you can find. Now these are probably about 3 years old. They run anywhere from about $75 to $100 a piece, but they are the best that you can buy that I have found. They're great for gripping, and all of my tools other than my crimper are all this brand and this style. For my hand, these are perfect. Now, not everybody's hands are as big or as small or fit differently, so you have to feel them in order to get the right pliers for your hands. So those are round nose. These are flat nosed. Again, if you look closely at them, what you want to look for is that when you close them, you do not see any air. They should close, or any light, they should close completely. That's what you want. That means that they're even and level. You also want a nice width on them. You don't want ones that are really, really wide or really, really narrow. These are about perfect. This is something you don't have to have, but they're really good to use, especially when turning ear wires. Okay, cutters, same thing. When you close them, you should not be able to see any light or little to no light through the cutters. Also, when you close them and you look at the back, if you see how this are just beveled in just a little tiny bit, kind of like a blade that's been sharpened, so that when they close, it's a flush close. That's what you want to look for. Okay, again, these are pretty old. So you will see some nicks, and they probably should be cleaned because they're a little tarnished, but they work perfectly for me. These are narrow-nosed or just regular pliers. Again, same thing. Look for the light. Okay. And on the flat nose in these, you want nice smooth. You don't want anything with grips. You never want to use grips, the little lines that run across there that grip things, when you're working with jewelry, unless it's something that specially asks for it. And the reason is because when you close down, if it has grips, it will leave marks on all of your little pieces of metal. Okay. This is a crimp tool. These are common. You're going to need these for later in the video when I teach you how to use crimps and wire guardians. Now, one thing I will tell you about crimps, they come in 3 sizes now. They used to only come in 2, but this is a standard crimp. There is also a micro crimp for little tiny ones, and there's called a biggie crimp. There's also some that have 3 and 4. The big thing that you just want to look for is that it has the 2 little, I'm trying to get a good angle there, the 2 little closure. So when you close, there should be one kind of like a happy face, and then there should be one that's an oval. And any crimpers are going to have it. It doesn't matter the brand. This is the most common brand. You can pick these up anywhere. Okay. Now onto some tools that you may or may not need. I personally love scoops. I use them for seed beads. I use them for when I do my jewelry. I use them for everything. I don't use the tweezers very much because I don't care what brand you get. They're not very strong and they don't pick up much, but they're still worth it. I do use them sometimes. But the scoop end, I use all the time. I go through about 1 of these a year because it ends up bending and I break them. But they're wonderful tools. Okay, Another tool that I have that you'll see me wearing all the time is my jump ring. Now they come in different sizes and different styles. This one is probably about 20 years old. So as you can see, it's very tarnished, but they do sell them currently. Some of the new ones only have one slot on one side and two on the other. And basically the slots are just to have different sizes when you're doing the jump rings. I prefer to wear it on my first finger at the first knuckle, because when I bend my knuckle, it's in the right spot, and that's where I've learned to do it. But I will tell you that you can wear it anywhere you want. You can use these, you don't have to. It does make opening and closing jump rings much easier. If you're going to do any kind of chainmail work or do jewelry for a living, I would recommend you getting these. And by the way, everything that you see, everything that I've sent you, everything that I talk about, you can buy from Fire Mountain Gems. You can either buy it through me or through them directly. And if you buy it through me, I do give you a bit of a discount. So some of the things like these I have on hand, because when I do teach classes in person, I usually sell them out. So there's lots of other things that I have that you can actually get that I just have in hand. Okay, stoppers. These are another thing that I highly recommend if you're going to be doing a lot of jewelry that you get. Now, come in different sizes, different shapes, different colors. All that really matters is that there's a spring and a grip. There are some that have just a little springy grip. Those work fine, but I will tell you, especially after you've been using them, it gets frustrating because sometimes they pop out. Some of your grip, sometimes, they'll shoot out, and sometimes they're hard to grip. I love these. They're not very expensive, and all you do is put them on a thread or a wire, and for the most part, it stops the beads from sliding off. Now, of course, if you pull real hard, it will still come off, and if you tighten them down too tight or hold them down tight and you pull your wire through, it will crimp your wire, so you have to be careful of that. But those are my basic tools. With that, I can create pretty much anything stranded. Now, when we get into the bead weaving, some of my tools are a little different, but we'll go over that when we get there. So that was the first video, and I will see you on the next one, and hopefully you'll enjoy the Back to the Basics bead along.